heat. This is point black. Coming in hard and off the car. Coming with the flow. Straight from the barrio. And coming with the heat from the damn street. This is PBNN Point Black National News, the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well. Because this is what we must do at all times, no matter what the situation may be. You know what I'm saying? Because if we don't, then someone else will do it for us. So this is PBNN Point Black National News, the late and the great edition, the ghetto edition as well. You know what I'm saying? Come on the heat, come on the facts, move bit, to the last lips. To the facts, cracking backs. This is PBNN Point Black National News, late and the great edition. You know what I'm saying? Taking up from where we left off, because this is what we must do. As we see, even in this here article, you know what I'm saying, where we picked up from yesterday, where it was saying that, you know what I'm saying, things as what you see in itself is one of the most highly effective health interventions. We spoke on that yesterday, saying that, yes, we understand that that is true, but that is not what the measure of the problem is in itself. You know what I'm saying? It says the U.S. has authorized, you know what I'm saying, or approved prevention of most the approved preventatives, you know what I'm saying, on the V's, most most be manufactured with high quality and effectiveness and effectiveness. You know what I'm saying, and favorable safety profile of the, you know, the V must be, you know, demonstrated. They're safe. They must be demonstrated. Their safety over time is also closely, you know, continuously monitored through multiple overlapping passive and active safety surveillance systems. You know what I'm saying? And in this, despite the care, as we see, despite the care taken in the development and the deployment of the V's their uh, 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 and their clear and compelling benefits of saving individual lives and improving population health outcome, you know what I'm saying, and increasing number of people in the U.S. And an increasing number of people in the U.S. are now, you know what I'm saying, declining the V's for various for a variety of reasons, ranging from safety concerns to religious belief, set aside for now the controversial issue of the V's mandates and federal state, because that's something the federal states, you know, federal, state, or local levels in the U.S. which are not within the purview or whatever of the Food and Drug Administration. You know what I'm saying? In itself. So when we look at the situation as it is, the administration, the situation has now deteriorated to a point that the population immunity against some of these preventable infectious diseases is at risk, and thousands of excess, excess thousands of excess deaths are likely to occur this season due to the illnesses amenable to prevention or reduction in severity of illnesses with DVs. You know what I'm saying? The counter of the current trend, we urge the clinic, urge the clinical and biomedical medical. Okay. Community to redouble its efforts to provide accurate, plain language information regarding the individual and collective benefits and risks of visation. Such information is now needed because these have been so successful in achieving their intense efforts that many people intended efforts intended effects that many people no longer see distributing, you know, morbidity or whatever, um, and mortality from infectious amendable, you know what I'm saying, amendable to the V's. For example, smallpox and so on. This is not the point, you know what I'm saying, and all of this seems to be just another waste of time because that is not the point. That is not the point. Even if it was before, you know what I'm saying, it was still being done to where it is now that it's being a holy apocalypse situation, you know what I'm saying, we still see the same effect that came in the same order of AIDS. You know what I'm saying? When AIDS came out, it affected many grown people. Many grown people had kids. The same thing when we saw, you know what I'm saying, the um, the cocaine and drug era. Many people on drugs had kids. And years ago, they used to be showing on the TV babies, you know, of the effects of the crack cocaine on babies and stuff like that, trembling and shaking and all kinds of stuff. They knew what they had done. This is why they came up with the cesarean birth technique. You know what I'm saying? So you can see where a lot of the schemical games that they played were orchestrated and seen. Now, we're not saying that in the medical field that there isn't benefits to being a medic, but one thing the medical people have to understand is that it wasn't so much about the medicine, it was, well, basically, but at the same time, it was about the push. It was about the using our government as a force in itself within the measure of what we saw that you did. And we know full well by you doing that only leads to one conclusion in anyone's mind who is sensible and have a brain on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Is to look at any analyzation. Now on the other side of the state, we have to look at the individuals that are doing this situation, you know what I'm saying, must understand that we see where you took away what we call client doctor privilege or doctor client privilege or whatever the case may be, to where you have put down a mandate and a this and a that and all of this and that. And this is seems to have had its playing out of what we saw. And then when the results came out, what was the results in itself based on everything that you say it was and what it was supposed to do. Now, at the same time, the people have a right between doctor and client and doctor, or whatever the case may be, when you have your personal doctors and so forth. And even when you go to the emergency room as well, you know what I'm saying? There must be some form of respect of medicine based on practice of doctors, because it's the same thing that goes for the White House, meaning a cleaning out. It's the same thing we're seeing in the medical field. So there must come a time where the medical field must detach itself from federal overreach of power based on any schematical game that it plays. One cannot sit here and say one can prove anything in itself without proper laboratory doings and being able to analyze it in itself. This is why Cuomo said there was a tracking device on it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know what I mean, we need to be able to know what the investigation will bring based on a honest and true transparency. Without that transparency in itself, and then at the high rise of a political overreach of power also, in the matter of facts of the chaos within it all that took place at the same time in sequence, does not speak much for the medicine that you're supposed to practice between your client and doctor and so on. The doctor is only there to truly advise, not force. The federal government should have no overreach into the medical field, and not only the federal government and so forth on, local as well, but no philanthropist or any individual that seems to be no more than a war, bloodthirsty, bumphead, Luciferian, crooked ass nut case to have any influential over the population and its medicine based on its doctors, such as Soros, Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, the sucker ass weasel. All three, and many more, are guilty of treason against the United States citizens that we call America, and have been doing this for a very long time. So, in the matter of what was done, based on what we saw and all that it was to be, did not show any security in it at all, other than a weaponization of a crooked set of bullshittical motherfuckers running a bullshittical group such as they have always done throughout their career and years to bring about this bullshit in itself. And in it, you see where there is a censorship in the matter of itself. Now, why was there a censorship when there's supposed to be a doctor client privilege back and forth, whether emergency room or doctor's office, clinics, or wherever? We did not see that. We saw a overreach of governmental power by a group of coup or schematical group or whoever within our government, because all was in the mix in this one, to the force of a censorship on the people, but not on the run of the mill. Because once the freight train came down the hill, it never stopped. The only stop it made was to drag the people there along. You see? Under the guise of persecution. And you call that a medical field? There should have been no overreach of government or weaponization of a government itself, the federal government, or any government, to overreach on the people in this way. And you speak of this. So we know there's a direct connection to some kind of wickedness thereof. Anytime Bill Gates and Linda Gates could have power over the CDC and the World Health Organization, and they say we speak out against them, so shut up and do what we tell you to do. how can you expect anyone to have any trust in anything that you do? It's no more than a catch 22. Two goes in, one comes out. hmm Okay. As we move on, I think you got the picture. If not, that's on you. I have no time. But where we see here with now another one coming in by Governor Ron DeSantis considers, you know, excluding creepy Joe Biden from the Florida primary in response to the migrant crisis. You know what I'm saying? Oh yes, you have to do that, Mr. DeSantis. Oh yes, I don't like DeSantis anymore, but do it. Kick Biden off the ballot for an insurrection at the border. I was wondering when somebody was going to use that phrase. It was a plotted insurrection by the creepy Joe and his crooked oligarchs and whoever he's affiliated with. All up the government inside the government, as people like to say. You know what I'm saying? But we see where here Florida Ron DeSantis, is considering the possibility of removing the creepy Joe ass creep president cheating ass from, states' primary ballots in the response to Biden's handling of the migrant crisis. That's right, you know what I'm saying? And the insurrection in itself. DeSantis considered con- DeSantis consideration consideration comes after Maine Secretary of State took action against the creepy ass. I mean, took action after the Maine Secretary of State took action against the great and the one and only Donald J. Trump to be there, say over the January 6th bullshit that they tried to put on Donald Trump to be there, and say that he's guilty of that, which is bullshit if you ask me, in itself, in a whole corruptical garbage or scheme because you control probably the media, but we see here where the right was caused by the even Democrats in Colorado, and the Colorado Supreme Court, removed Trump from the state primary, which was straight garbage because Colorado, if that's the case, then you probably was one of the orchestrators of this setup on Donald J. Trump. And we have to take a look at that because why would you have so much interest as to take Donald Trump off the ballot, up there, down there in Colorado? Oh, yeah. And Maine as well. We see them. You know what I'm saying? But we see the Santos criticize the idea of the election official making decisions about the candidate's eligibility without criminal conviction, suggesting it could lead to a Pandora's box of political, retaliation. You know what I'm saying? In movies and one, of course, the governor, expressed his opposition to the tit for tat politics, but emphasize the need to fight back with equal measure of expect in equal measure and expect the U.S. Supreme Court to address the issue. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Mr. DeSantis. You're sounding pretty good. DeSantis also commented on Trump's potential candidacy in the 2024, suggesting that legal issues and past controversy could overshadow his Republican message and the electoral strategies. Here we go, that electoral bull again. Yeah, okay. We got another cheat on the line. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, nothing is overshadowing Donald J. Trump. Ron, the scientists need to understand. You know what I'm saying? The only thing overshadowing in itself is the bullshit and the scheme that they're doing, though. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't overshadowing what we see and what we know should be done. You know what I'm saying? And what candidates need to be there to make that fight right. Not all is to be trusted in all ways. I'm not saying everybody have to trust Donald Trump and be a Donald Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying? But I still think that Donald Trump deserves another 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And then he is finished. You know what I'm saying? Ron DeSantis, you know what I'm saying? You should have to, fight for your spot as well. and we shall see how well it goes. But we want a fair and clean election. We don't want a bunch of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Well, we see the creep Joe Biden campaign response to reports on Obama warnings about Trump. You know what I'm saying? The creep Joe. This is coming in by Sarah. 15 hours ago, Eastern Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? The Biden campaign defends its strategy in response to news, you know what I'm saying, response to news reporting on criticism from the dumbass president we ever had, sometimes to me, Obama, on the structure of the Joe Biden campaign, on his concerns about the President Donald J. Trump's strength as a political candidate going into 2024. You know what I'm saying? We see here, we see Quinta, whatever his name, Quentin or whatever, Flops or whatever, principal deputy campaign manager for the president, creepy ass Joe Biden re-election dumbass. If anybody in the rightful mind will get him out, he's nothing but trouble and destruction that he has caused in his path of all the 75, 80 years of government. On Sunday, defends the campaign approach and stress that the creep Obama and creep Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying, are aligned in their position that Trump needs to be defeated. Well, didn't you say that the last time when you cheated the election with creepy Joe Biden and caused a roll of chaos and war and the genocide across the land that we see going on right now in the Gaza and Ukraine and in Africa in certain places of your influence in South America, we call Africa, you call it what you want. We're going to continue to do what we need to do in order to be, you know what I'm saying, competitive, in order to make sure we're growing the infrastructure that we need to win. The only infrastructure that you need to win is to get the fuck out. Plain and simple. Because you have not done any good for our government at all. You have told the people lies, bullshit, and many cries. You have played the mind of the people for fools for far too long. You have done nothing in the path of it all other than garbage, straight pedophilia, and allowed some of the heinous crimes on this planet to be displayed and pumped up by Yogi, such as we see in Ethiopia, Sudan, and the Gaza Strip, and mother knows wherever else that these people have done this type of garbage. But they continue to make you believe that they have some kind of glorious rule. I don't see that and probably never will, because their right to run for government at this time, whether it's old nutcase Obama or creep Joe Biden, they must be removed from our political scene. And the demon Democrats needs to be on hold back and full investigation of all demon Democratic candidates. And there must also be another overhauling or looking into the Republican Party as well. And the independent. And there needs to be, especially coming from the black community, and I ain't talking about the days of a pimp and a smooth talking Afro wearing sucker, talking about he wants to get into politics, you know what I'm saying, and don't do shit other than, you know what I'm saying, up there trying to get the fancies of life. That's not what I'm talking about. Why he sing and got the psychological game of a pimp. I'm talking about legitimately starting a party for coming from the black community and not from a Luciferian signed contract. You know what I'm saying? With some kind of secret society or whatever. Thinking that you're playing with, or wherever you get it from. There must be a cleaning out of our government in all ways. He went on to say, we're going to continue to do what we need to do in order to be competitive and in order to make sure that we're growing the infrastructure that we need to win. Creepy as LGBTQ Obama and creepy as can't keep his hands off the children line took talk frequently, you know what I'm saying, as do the campaign and the, you know, the operative former President Creepy Joe Biden administration campaign, Mr. Fox, or whatever his name is, said in an interview on NBC News, Meet the Press, of course, when asked how the campaign is responding to Obama and those kids. But, you know what I'm saying? But the one thing that is that we're both aligned on the facts that we have to push back on the mega extremists. Why you got to push back on the mega extremists when we're talking about the country as a whole and what needs to be cleaned up and what needs to be done? And you keep talking about some extremists here, extremists there. Your mother's going to need to chill out with that bullshit. Because if the people think that the destruction that you see going on by these wicked beasts that were set up over there in the Gaza Strip talking about a country, that ain't a country, but inside of a country that is already a country that was always there and have been. People come, they don't make a country. People come, they make it a division. But you talking about extremists and all kind of bullshit. So we over here might not see that type of destruction just yet. But when if we allow them to continue down the road with this back and forth nonsense, using mega and extreme and all this different bullshit, you know what I'm saying, to make you believe that this one is better than this one and that one and all that kind of game you playing, we don't need to hear that because that makes us more than a victim than the people in that says Palestine. And that's straight up. Obviously, we've seen COVID-19 and the mandates, obviously. But at the same time, and the document 2.13 article, you know what I'm saying, and the threat that they pose to freedom and, freedom, the threat that they pose to freedom. What freedom? Tell that to the Gazan people when Joe Biden set up a group of people there and called them invading the land and called them Israel. You know what I'm saying? And made all this different stuff to happen that's going on for 75 years of murdering and killing other Palestinian people and all up in the Darfur region with the Africans and all the, up in different regions of Africa and all the nonsense they did full. What freedom? Free if I don't give a damn who it is. If all is not free upon this here planet, truly none of us are. And as far as your demon mockery, we don't give a flying fuck about that. We're talking about land and countries. And so we're focused on doing just that. Well, one thing those two need to focus on is their brains. Because if they're the influential brains of this world, then we are in deep trouble. But we see the so-called invading country group of people calling themselves Israelis, conduct an airstrike on car carrying out Jazeera, whatever, a journalist. You know what I'm saying? Now they're killing a journalist. Oh boy. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel that this is what they do. Anything to cover up a story or the atrocities that they're causing by being there. This is coming in by Adam. We're not going to go into your last name. 16 hours ago Eastern Standard Time of the UPI News. January 7th, I see the UPI. But we see where these group of people that invaded Egypt in that Gaza Strip conducted an airstrike on a car, that was carrying out Algeria, saying a journalist and a freelance journalist who contributed to France AFP Newswire. It was revealed Sunday. Oh yeah, he must have had a nice, sweet story that and evidence of much information that he wanted to probably bring to the world. But as a Bureau chief in Gaza, whatever the hell his name is, hugged his daughter during a funeral of his son Hamza, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yes. They over there murdering and killing the people by the millions and the chaos and the blood and the shedding is going on. And guess what? The person that put them there and the person that created that there, Joe Biden, the British, and all idiot Americans who's all involved, you know what I'm saying, is not the ones out there on the battlefield shooting or killing. You know what I'm saying? But they're the ones that definitely orchestrated. We must wake up now. You know what I'm saying? You're killing the reporter and the reporters and so forth, as we see. You know what I mean? As we see. As we see. As we see. You know what I'm saying? And they're killing the reporters and all kinds of crazy mess, which doesn't make much sense at all. If the reporters are reporting the good news and what's coming in from over there, and he even have press written on his chest. So he had information. You see how the information is not getting through? And I bet you that man could tell us a whole lot of what's truly going on over there. You know what I'm saying? But they made sure the fact that they didn't. We see the Latino Senate hopefuls say Hispanic voters being blindsided by the Demon Democrat. You know what I'm saying? The Demon Democrat policies aim to flip border seats red. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. We see the conservative Latino, and I don't understand how come Latino is conservative. The Democrat. I hope they are with the Republicans. You know what I'm saying? But we see conservative. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I hope they were the Republicans and they were Republicans, very strong conservative Latino activists and Republican candidates running to flip New Mexico's demon Democratic held seats. There you go, boys. Let's ride, baby. Told Fox News Digital this week that the Hispanic voters are being blindsided by the demon Democratic policies that don't align with their values as a community, and that is right. And if Trump was smart, he would jump. He would jump on this one. If Trump was smart, Trump would jump on this one. We see Luna, a political outsider who has never held, held elective office. Oh, Luna has served for the past year as the state director of the New Mexico elected or whatever movement. You know what I'm saying? A faith-based organization aimed at educating and empowering Latino Americans with conservative values to leave the Democratic Party. That is right. That is right. In order to build something, you cannot ride the back of the old garbage. When you come into this country, you have to calm your people down as far as the chaoticity that was allowed over there for many years. The population has got to come to an understanding of prosperity and growth. You know what I'm saying? Especially after you have been given an opportunity to come into this country, even though it might have been under straight political policies of schematical garbage. Organization, educating their people, you know what I'm saying, on aim to educate and empower the Latino Americans with conservative values to lead the Demon Democrat, but not as. You know what I'm saying? He because really they don't care about you. The Demon Democrats, if they stay in power, the Latino people are going to really begin to see over the years as things relax and go back to so many things that it was, they're going to be back into the same situation and might even be worse at the point because the people might get upset and things might change hands. So you have to play this one very carefully. You see? He believes that Latinos being uh, are being awakened to just how uh, 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 contrasting their values are to the policies being pushed by the Creep Joe Biden administration. Of course, because you're talking about in the Democratic Party the trickery and the garbage in itself that they play on you. It's the same thing they're doing to the American people, is what the Latino people gotta understand. It doesn't matter what the scheme may be. You know what I'm saying? In the end, there's going to always be the talk and the going and the doing, but the flaws in it in itself is going to change on you. And when that flaws come around and change on you, then you realize what it was they really was trying to do and saying. You know what I'm saying? But we see here where the policy is pushed by the Democrats, and that such a shift could lead to New Mexico, a state with a population made up of nearly 50% Hispanic, to flip to red in November. Oh, yes. You see? Because this also will speak for the helping of the Gazan people in Ukraine war. You know what I'm saying? And many other things that are going on in South America, because you see, what the Latino people don't seem to understand. It's not about you just coming over here, having a tranquil life, and living rich. Don't forget about where you came from. Don't forget your heritage in your country. I know there's a lot of chaos that took place and probably have cartels and all kind of coyotes and all this kind of stuff. And if they were smart calling themselves these different names, they would remove themselves from the Democratic Party as well, and also try to build South America into a glorious and resourceable place. It is a shame that you cannot find this in a country of such great wealth, even 7% of the oil that comes from the Gulf of Mexico. The biggest reason is forcing trans ideologies and forcing it in schools. That is a deal breaker for every parent, but especially for Latino and Hispanics. Throughout the nation, Luna said, when asked why Latinos were abandoning the Democrats, Demon asked, who have traditionally been able to depend on getting a large portion of the community support. You know what I'm saying? Mhm, once you came in, you have almost, in a sense, bridged the gap to violate the consensus or the conscience, you know what I'm saying, of our children. Once you do that, the only result we will ever live, you know what I'm saying, with is that you never access, you never have access to our children ever again. And that is right. That is right. You know what I'm saying? Because when you build something, you don't build it from a demon mockery or democracy, or you don't even build it from a democratic demon democratical groove. Because that is just consistently a matriarchal matrix reversing of psychology that hits you with the truth and at the same time hitting you with the lie from behind and the side and the left and the right. When you build something, you must build it from a republic. You see what I'm saying? If the prosperity is to come back to the formation of the government that built it in the first place. Because that's where the people now see the value of the unity that needs to be to quell the bullshit and calm the shit down on the planet. You see, that will make it in itself a glorious place. Because for one to not see the glory within this planet and the glory that I have seen and some that I have never seen does not give me the right to curse it from the young, nor will I ever do so, for I enjoy to know that they have reached that mark. But at the same time, it is not my place to be angry or vexed, but to glorify within it and to save it to it be passed on that they can have that. They can see that, they can live that. Some people, like I said, are very greedy, you know what I'm saying? And we gotta watch them. They're greedy, you know what I'm saying? But they're saying the Republicans are contributing to the gaining ground with Latinos, a trend that first gained widespread attention in 2021. One poll even showed creepy nutcase Biden, who won 59% of the Latino vote in 2020, trailed the president, Donald J. Trump, to be bad, did he? In a hypothetical 2024 rematch among the demographics. You see? And one thing we got to understand also, even if Donald Trump was to win again, like I said, he only get 4 more years. What happened after that? Mm-hmm. But we see here where we got the Latino brothers on the girl, Latino. You know what I'm saying? According to the Luna Democrats, Democrats have created what he called a non-stop movement that wouldn't end until they're implementing such policies or votes out of office and the education system is fixed. Yeah, you got to do so. It is important. It is very important that you fix the democratic group. Ain't no way that we should have a democratic group that's corrupted to the point that you can't even raise children in it. To where you can't even raise children in it. You know what I'm saying? But we see another one coming in here 2 days ago. But remember, this is a late edition, and it is what it is. But we see the President Joe Biden warns of the demon democracy. He was the demon democracy uh, at risk as questions arise over the DOJ's handling of the January 6th aftermath coming in by the Empire uh, State Update in itself. I say that as you see. So we see here where, say the takeaway on the jam, say in itself, the takeaway on the jam in itself, say is a situation that is to be. So we see here where the takeaway is that Joe Biden, has warned that the